It's 6 p.m. Eastern. Welcome to the Daily Wrap. And on the show tonight, Sirius XM radio star, columnist with Forbes magazine, and the man single-handedly keeping the e-cig business in business. Rick Unger is here. Yes, or whatever that is.
I am.
The plume that's coming across our screen. To his right, former Navy SEAL and the author of the page-turner Battle on the Home Front, Carl Higbie joins us. Sans tie, looking good. And introducing new to the Daily Wrap, former CNN and Fox alum, wow, like me, Forbes.com contributor Bill Tucker. William, welcome.
Like me.
Good to be here.
Let's go to the Daily Download. Well, as predicted right here and elsewhere, the Hillary Clinton email scandal is now getting even bigger. The former Secretary of State was using an email account under a fictitious name. Who hasn't done that? That was being managed by a private server at her home. That sounds safe. The Clintons have yet to respond to the incident. Congress has just subpoenaed her emails. Thank goodness. The State Department spokesman, Marie Harf, has plenty of information regarding her former boss's email account. Or does she?
Possible to get some clarity on who exactly in this building is in charge of handling compliance with regards to archiving of electronic communications?
I'm happy to check. I'm not, quite honestly, I'm not sure.
Do you know if anyone in whatever that department was had raised any concerns at the time that she was serving as secretary?
Well, not knowing what department that is, I think it'd be hard for me to know of concerns they raised.
Right.
So I'm happy to check.
But Pledge Week does begin later in March. Okay, the State Department needs to do some checking, and we should have an answer back by December of 2016. Okay, how about the White House? They've got a great game plan, I would imagine, to investigate Hillary's emails, right?
Is there anything happening either at the White House or that you know of at the State Department to go back and look at whether there were any security issues that came up with Secretary Clinton using a private email or an email server?
Nothing like that I'm aware of.
Well, everything. Meanwhile, the big news has fired up the debate over, yes, Benghazi. We just got word that the House Select Committee on Benghazi has subpoenaed ClintonMail.com for all correspondence related to the 2012 embassy attack. Rick Unger, there's blood in the water. Your thoughts on what is looking like maybe a dicey situation for the former Secretary of State?
Look, there's always blood in the water when it comes to Hillary. It's not good. It's not, I think people are getting a bit overwrought about this, but there's no question this is not helpful to her.
Okay, let me re-clarify or rephrase. Is this resonating, you think, with the American public in any capacity?
Yes, I think it is resonating. I think it's the kind of thing that doesn't last forever, but what does last is when you add this to the bucket of Hillary issues. It is, and the biggest knock she's going to get out of this is that it's very, quote, Clintonian. Lack of transparency. This is the sort of thing that does her harm. So, she better hope that when they do turn over these emails to the Benghazi committee, there's nothing in there that they can make too much out of, or it's just going to keep the story rolling for a lot longer.
Bill, the old saying is shavings make a pile, right? And 2 weeks ago it was the Clinton Foundation accepting gifts, and now this, and obviously all the other baggage that comes with being a Clinton. Here's my question, because, all right, is she going to jail? No. Did she break the law? Maybe, maybe not, but probably nothing will happen.
Right.
What effect will this have on Democrats' confidence in her ability to win in 2016?
Well, I'm one of those guys who's classically married to a liberal, and this is resonating with my wife, and my wife is disgusted. So to Rick's point, yes, this does add to the point you're making about the pile of shavings. She's upset. She's disgusted. She found out I had a secret mail account that I didn't tell her about that I got emails on.
You'd be in trouble.
Oh, I'd be in trouble. Every one of us would be. I mean, this just doesn't pass any sort of smell test. Forget the legalities of it. I have no idea whether this did or didn't break the law. It just smells bad. So now the question becomes, who's going to step up? Is there anybody who can, in fact, step up on the Democratic side?
We're going to talk about that, oddly enough.
Yeah.
A little later in the show.
A little later in the show, absolutely. So, Carl, you once had an email account, a fake one, under the name Carlos Danger at yahoo.com.
Well, now it's no longer secret. So thank
Twitter.
No, that was the other. That was Anthony Weiner. I'm sorry.
That's my dating website.
So, right.
No,
right.
actually, I do have a real-world scenario. Now, this is when I was publishing my book and submitting things to the Navy, I was asked to submit everything from my private account and not on DoD computers.
Really?
So I did, and when it finally got to NCIS, they said, "Why did you do that?" I said, well, I was told to. Here's the email telling me to. They're like, well, you can't do that. We have to send everything all over again from an official email account because, God forbid, something happens. Now we're all in trouble because you sent it from a private email account. So here I am in the military. Why is the Secretary of State, being able to do that stuff? Why is there that double standard there?
Yeah, the head of a cabinet. Bill, are you surprised? The Clintons have been in the public eye for 25 years. Are you surprised about how reckless this was? Because it was going to get out eventually.
No, I'm not. Not at all. Because I think that there's an arrogance there that they can do whatever they want and they're going to get away with it. And I think it's really that simple. So I don't think they ever even entertained the thought.
But let's be a little bit careful here. She's not the first to do it since the 1950 law passed. We all know that Colin Powell now used his personal email account. The difference is Colin Powell didn't run for president, and it seems that Hillary does want to. Right. So you have to ask yourself the question, she had to know when she became Secretary of State, there was a chance she might run for president. Why would she want to open herself up to this criticism? And secondly, why was she not turning the emails over within a reasonable period of time? Then she's not in trouble. There's no problem with using your personal account. You have to make this stuff available to people who have freedom of information requests, etc. But she didn't.
This comes up to the fact that she has consistently displayed behavior that is do as I say, not as I do. Very much so to the fact of, well, I think it's okay to do it. Nobody else can do it, but. Colin Powell did it, but you know what? She has been very vocal on a lot of issues. I mean, you look at the Benghazi thing. What difference does it make? I mean, this shows a classic character flaw of her just showing any type of lack of care and concern for rules or laws or anything like that. She thinks she's above the law.
Well, I don't know that that's true, but I have to say to you that when she reacts the way you just pointed out, we all just watched on the monitor, she kind of begs for that criticism, even if it's not true.
You keep adding these straws, and like you said with the shaving, you keep adding these straws, it will break.
Yeah.
Let me turn the conversation to what happens next. Now, she hasn't addressed this yet. She was at an event last night and basically had a canned speech and didn't even speak about it. Bill hasn't spoken about it. 3-sentence answers right down the board. What happens next?
I'm not sure there's any gain in her addressing it. She could just stay quiet about it.
Interesting.
It's going to happen and it's going to proceed. She doesn't have to comment.
Carl, it's a lead story everywhere. I don't see how she could avoid it.
She's going to do the same thing. She's going to try to bury it because she thinks it's not a big deal.
Rick?
She can avoid it until she testifies before the Benghazi committee, and the most impact I suspect it will have is it could influence her decision as to whether or not it's worth it to run for president.
Very pithy to 3 of you. That was very McLaughlin group. I like that. Anyway, coming up next, Obamacare went back to the Supreme Court. Galen Institute President Grace Marie Turner was there and will tell us what happened. This is the Daily Max, and it's only on Newsmax TV.